Hey guys, Anthony here with Geek Domination, and look who's here!
I did it! I made it!
It's Kody!
Hi!
Yay! We've got a game to talk to you about today.
You might have
something.
You might have heard of it. It's this really small indie game that's been in development for a couple years now. Like, I don't even know that. Like, the developer's like Ubisoft or something like that.
Oh yeah.
I've never heard of them before.
One's heard
but it's a Division, the newest Tom Clancy game, and we've been spending a lot of time in it the last couple weeks, and we want to talk about it.
Oh my god, yeah. We finally made level 30. It was a bit of work for me, bit of work for you. You killed it, though.
I did. I went hardcore on the solo scene.
Yeah,
like, it was
nuts.
a little nuts there.
Yeah.
But let's jump into this.
Well, yeah, the Division, it's pretty good overall. Just first thoughts, I like it.
I like it a lot too. And what I was talking to you about earlier, like today, like a lot of what people are reporting on is the stuff like, in the beta, it was like one of the biggest console betas ever. It was the biggest top selling new opening for an IP ever.
True
and everyone's like, oh, it's like so much better than Destiny and blah, 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 blah. And I'm the one who's realizing like the reason why a lot of like the beta is doing so good and the launch is doing so good is because Destiny literally opened the floodgates for this kind of game.
Wide open.
Wide open, the open world MMO shooter, the gear and the friend shit and
the color scheme for your tiered loot.
That's been
there
with us since
too.
Wow.
Oh, see? Connections.
It's true.
But yeah, like it really is advertising itself to be like the game to beat Destiny. Like I noticed everyone talks about it, and even some of the exact trailers themselves will include selling better than Destiny, and stuff like that. And I don't get it. It's not the same thing.
Literally, the comparisons are: there's guns, there's gear. You play with your friends.
Yeah,
the comparisons are done. Then they're completely different playstyles. Completely different end game content, at least right now.
True enough.
Like they're so far apart, yet so close at the same time that it's weird to see so many similarities and comparisons being made with them.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. So getting into it, the gameplay for me, I really, really enjoy it.
It's one of the best cover shooters I've ever played. Just in the sense where I remember you talking about this in the beta. It's like it's sticky enough to where you never feel like you're like being hampered by the game mechanics getting to cover, but it's not so sticky at times. There's a couple times where it's happened.
There are times
where you can get out of cover and you can move when you need to. And I think that's really the biggest thing that they obviously spent a lot of time hammering down the cover system and how that implements and everything. And they did a really good job of punishing the hell out of you if you're not in cover.
It's true. Like you break out of it for a little bit, and in fact, some of my faults end up where cover isn't included. But it tells you right from the beginning. It like literally in the tutorial, it's like if you're not in cover, you're fucked.
You're dead.
You're dead.
You die so fast. It's gross.
Yeah.
And like you'll even experience like even when you're like peeking out, like starting to shoot people. Like if there's a sniper there and they're strong enough, you're dead.
Yeah. It's just one of the things to take note though, and part of my starting to get into gripes of it is the AI is really fluid, and it can like hammer you, and it can really kill you at times. But at that very same moment, if you know what they're doing,
there's some times
they're predictable.
They're really predictable at times.
Yeah.
You'll notice like any time there's a mission where you have to like defend like some like named person or some important person, like a named NPC. A lot of time they're focusing on them, and I've had a lot of times where they'll just run right past me, trying to get to this person. Like I'd say probably about 70% of the time the AI is really good. And that other like 30% of the time, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, like when the rioters come out and they're just like, hey, do. You're just like,
what are you doing, guy?
You're dead.
You're dead.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are those moments where like you get the snipers. You're out for too long. You're gone.
It's true.
You have the things like the shotgunners. They're terrifying.
Honestly, the shotgunners are, in my opinion, are the most terrifying unit.
Oh, absolutely.
As soon as I see one of the Riker shotgunners like coming up on me, I'm like, I'm done.
I was doing one of
screwed if I don't kill them.
The
first.
challenge missions once you hit 30, and there were like 6, level 32 yellow shotgunners, and we couldn't get past it. It's like, how do this? What do? Like it's way too hard.
Yeah, it's like just throw out all of your grenades. first thing and like position them so that you get them as they're coming in.
Right.
Get some incendiaries out there. Man.
That's also like
Get 'em shut up.
as like Cole, we already talked about, you know, snipers and shotgunners and stuff. I feel like there is a lot more diversity in the enemies than I originally thought there was going to be.
Yeah, I do have to give them credit for that. I was worried that it would be a little too formulaic, and they are different. They're different types of enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say that. Like, you're totally spot on with that. My only fault with the game is where it comes into different types of enemies from like the actual like groups themselves.
I get
They
that.
all function the same.
Very similarly, there's a
Yeah.
couple of small ones in
Yeah.
between each little
Nuances,
faction,
yeah.
but it's at the same time, you know, the Rikers are all, you know, the shotgunners, the snipers, stuff like that. The cleaners are all the flamethrowers,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But going on from like gameplay and stuff, I think a big thing to point out is like the whole skill system and
skill
how that
system.
has a lot of customization. I think that this kind of goes into a topic or a point I want to make very clear, that if you don't have people to play with Division, I would not recommend it nearly as much.
Yes.
Because
Find a group.
It needs that group play. And then that goes like right into skills and how like they synergize with people. You know, even when there was like you and me and Katie, when there was just the three of us, like there was always that. Okay, you're using this skill.
When we're all level.
Right.
When we're
you're using this skill. Okay, I want to use this skill instead, so we're not doubling it. And you want to use this and this, and when, you know, the game's been out for about 2 weeks now, and we're already starting to see these crazy skill combos.
Yeah, it's really nice. I like the versatility with combinations, and that's, I think, like the Division's greatest asset is the fact that it's diverse.
It's very diverse.
It's really nice. It's
So
really nice. Like, and I love the way, for the most part, like all the skills feel. Like, I know it's not my favorite skill per se in like a tactical sense, but goddamn, I love the feeling of the Seeker Mines.
The Seeker Mine's just fun.
You know, just following.
I think that's a really good point. Like,
Oh.
I feel like every skill except for maybe like one, which is the one where you can just drop cover like anywhere.
Yeah,
I feel like all the other ones have their place.
Yeah, I totally agree with that too. Yeah, I think I've used the smart, or it's not smart cover.
It's not smart cover. It's
deployable cover.
That's the one.
Yeah, and that one's, yes, it's okay. Like, I mixed it up a few times with it, but it's
I feel like
boring.
it's
and
kind of
not
dumb, just in the
great.
sense where there's cover everywhere always.
There always is cover, by the way. With very few exceptions, there's always cover in the game, and which is both a great thing and a bad thing in a sense too, because it's all like, there you go, that's where I'm gonna go.
There's a couple instances that I've ran into, at least with challenges, where you really have to start using cover differently.
Yeah, there's like an awkward corner and stuff like that, which then, again, going into the pros, I have a con with it as well, is like some of the camera angles with how you zoom in and move around cover and look around cover are really goofy occasionally.
There's
and
a couple times.
Yeah, you get screwed if
I
you don't
think
have it
the
right.
biggest way to kind of sum up a lot of the cons in this game is the beginning Ubisoft bullshit. You know, it's
Actually, that's exactly
you know,
right, yeah.
I want to make a very
So
good
right.
point here in a second though, but like, you know, like a lot of the random falling through floors, and when it happens to me, it doesn't happen once. It happens like twice, and in like the exact
Yes.
same spots. It's really bad. But
breaking.
as like a whole, and like it being a Ubisoft game, how much of Watch Dogs did you actually play?
I played a good amount. I didn't finish the story because I really got annoyed
good.
with it.
Me
But I
neither,
played enough
but-
to know how it functioned.
Did the side missions where you had to like do like the resetting the antennas? Did those feel a lot like Watch Dogs to you?
I
like
never thought about it, but it's so true.
uncomfortably, like just like I don't really want to say like the parkour elements, but like the just like how you get from building to building and that. I'm just like, this is Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
Like this is like, but it's better. But I mean, like anything just slightly better than Watch
It's like
Dogs.
I'm
is
going
like,
over this ventilation shaft up above this little floor, and then there's
and then I have to go down the stairs and then through the window, up the stairs here, climb this ladder, jump down this ledge, go around here, and then I can jump the fence.
Yeah, it's like it's level design that's tricking you to believe that it's really open and you can go anywhere, but when it really is just a straight line.
A lot of the time it is.
Yeah, and it's both a pro and a con because like going into the other side of it. Did you have any more things on gameplay?
Not really.
Yeah,
I think
we got it.
the talents. My only problem with those, like, so there's skills and there's talents. A lot of the talents just kind of feel there.
Yeah,
I feel like there's a couple talents that you kind of have to take. Like the one that's like
required.
Like the recoil when you're in cover for 10 seconds. Like that one's way too good to not have all the time.
Funny enough, I actually don't have it.
Really?
But I should. I know how good it is.
Because like literally it's like, oh, I'm in the cover, 25% reduced recoil. Oh, the thing is down from it. I'm going to hop out of cover for a second and then hop right back in. Oh, look, the buff's back.
Yeah. And honestly, like when in a game where your aiming matters a lot, because it's a shooter. It's a shooter at the end of the day. Even if they are kind of bullet spongy sometimes. The recoil helps you out so much, especially when you have like a heavy LMG where you're loading it as your guys
That's
are
a good point,
up.
just like kind of leading off the gameplay. I guess we never really did talk about how just like the shooting and the guns feel.
That's a good point, yeah.
They all feel good, and I feel like the different weapon classes all feel unique enough, and they're going to, you're going to have those people who are like, oh, I want to use this gun because it feels this way.
Yes, I think everything is good except for one particular gun.
Which is?
The fucking Magnums. I hate them. They're worthless.
Magnums are pretty bad.
The Magnums are bad.
I feel like
and the
my small, or like my biggest gripe with the weapons is the fast firing marksman rifles. That is, they feel like they don't have any punch.
They don't have any punch, but I don't know. I think they are immensely better than the slower ones.
Really?
Only because when I find myself being harassed by the enemy, I'm allowed to react quicker and do more things with it.
Kind of in like a trigger happy.
Yeah, I don't have to take my time.
Okay, I can see that.
Aiming as much as I would with the other ones.
That's true.
And I have more recovery weight if I miss a few shots.
The one I have right now is actually this sweet spot where
Between
like
the two?
it has like a mag of like 20. But
is it the military one? Or wait, no, not the military one. The police one.
It's not the police one.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly which one it is, but like it's a faster firing one, but I still feel like it hits like a truck. So it's pretty good.
Good.
But yeah, gameplay as a whole, I think it's very strong. Again, it's a very niche type of game. If you're not into third-person shooters with a huge emphasis on cover, you're not going to enjoy the game.
Yes. The Dark Zone.
That's a thing.
Wow. Yeah, it's creepy and it's intense.
I feel like it's not as intense as it felt in the beta right now, but I also haven't gotten to experience it with anyone else yet.
That's true.
Because kind of the dumb thing is you can't play it with people unless you're the same level as them.
Exactly.
Or within like, there's like brackets of levels. I don't know if you kind of like...
It's 20, I think it like goes through like 5s.
Something like that, but like once you hit level 30, there's 2 zones that are level 30, 2 that are 31, and 2 that are 32. And you go to those 32 areas, those are fucking scary.
I started in the 32 levels, and literally like all I was doing was like going from cover to cover hiding.
Oh yeah.
I was hiding.
Level 32 enemies are no joke.
Yeah.
They're fucking
and they're
terrifying.
all yellow.
Yeah, and you can't stagger them. Like, just like, like bullet stagger that happens eventually from shooting them. Yeah, it doesn't exist.
They don't have stagger, yeah.
You gotta like blind them or some kind of shit. But I want to see where the Dark Zone kind of develops. We know, I don't know if it's in this first April update or the next one. One of the items slated for it is Division Activity Update. Yes. I'm curious what that's going to be. I want a little bit more in the Dark Zone than this, let's go kill enemies, pseudo PvP, pseudo like Mexican standoff everywhere you go. Like, are you going to shoot first? Are we going to shoot at all? Can we be friends?
The thing is, I like that pseudo aspect of it.
I do too.
If it was more fleshed out. It needs to be more rewards for going rogue. And not maybe as many penalties, but also still drive home the fact that you got to pick the right times.
There's also like, I was talking to a couple people and they were like, oh, I don't want to go into the Dark Zone. Like, it's so scary. I'm like, 90% of the people you're going to run into don't want to fight because they're there for the same reason you are.
Out of I think I've played about 4 or 5 hours of the Dark Zone so far. I have met only one guy that has actually actively tried to fight me, and I kicked his fucking ass.
I fought a couple people just because I was kind of, I'm like, let's light this chaos. Let's get this rolling.
Oh my god! In the beta, this one was like fucking Joker. He just likes to watch the world burn.
There's some guys. There's guys. Can we fight the guys? Like,
yeah.
There's guys. I want to kill those guys.
Literally, this man threw a grenade in the middle of like a 10 people waiting of an extraction, and it just went. I don't even know what happened.
We died real quick.
Yeah. Grenade heard around the world. Serious.
But Dark Zone's cool. I feel like it needs to be more fleshed out. We obviously know that more stuff is coming.
Yeah. It's exciting for the possibilities. It's just not where you want it to be right now, unfortunately. So keep your expectations at bay if you want this like intense PvP experience.
That's not what it is. That's not what it is. And again, Dark Zone, a lot more fun when you have a group.
And I think an interesting aspect that they should try sometime is something akin to like a firefight mode, where it's like maybe one of the zones in the Dark Zone has like an area where there's a ton of enemies, but you come in teams instead of just random one-person things, like teams expected. So there's a spider.
There's a spider for Katie. We're
Yes.
gonna get this spider. Let's go into presentation here, which is going to be the graphics, the music and stuff like that, the atmosphere.
Yeah. So on the note that we were talking about how it like looks like Watch Dogs sometimes, with how it like gets you to certain side objectives, that kind of atmosphere of Watch Dogs I think is literally like a straight off makeover for the idea of New York City. That said, though, I think atmospherically and authentically wise, it's recreated stunningly well.
One of the best graphical / atmospheric aspects of the game is the weather effects. I feel like that's something that everyone's talking about. You go into your base and it's day, you come out, it's a fucking blizzard.
Yeah.
And now it's raining. And now it's, real sunny. I feel like there's enough diversity it doesn't feel like a stupid weather gimmick, because they're all really well done too.
And they're really well done, and it does change the way you play levels sometimes too. Man, if you get like a snowy level where you can't see like any shit and you're blind unless you're right here on them, that can change everything.
I had an instance where I was doing one of the bosses later on, where the first time I did it, it was night. It was a little trickier because it was harder to find everything.
Yeah.
When I redid it again and it was day, it felt a lot more comfortable, and I just felt like this is a whole heck of a lot easier. So you do kind of get that differing aspects when you go through the levels each time, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's fun for replayability, which is nice. And like we were saying just about the New York City in general, it does feel pretty open for the most part. You never feel like there's that place you can't go to. Even though, if you look at it critically, Manhattan, I think, was a bit of a misfire. Because they advertised it so heavily in the E3 campaign.
I think that it is a misfire in the sense that it was basically the only place you went other than where you started the game, which was...
Well...
Where was that? It wasn't Manhattan where you started the game.
It was Brooklyn.
Was it Brooklyn?
Yeah, it was Brooklyn. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, too, it's like you get a taste of it and then you go away and you don't come back again, which doesn't make any sense to me,
right,
either story-wise or mechanically-wise. I just don't see why you make the assets and then just, nope.
At the same time, it's very blatantly clear that that's something they're going to bring into later expansions.
Right. They even say that the hub for where we are right now in the game, which is Manhattan, literally is like Hub 2.
Yep.
Like, you start out in Brooklyn, and then it's like, you're in a new hub, but you never leave that hub. That's the thing. So it kind of does feel like they built out the engines, and they're like, we'll give that to you later.
Right.
I hope it's not like a DLC later, and it's like, this is our free expansion for everyone to go into, and then I think you alleviate some of the concerns with that too.
Because we've already seen the year one map, where the first two updates are free.
Yeah.
And then we start getting into the bigger, more content ones. And we've seen Destiny experiment with both, and we've seen mixed reactions on both.
Yeah, true enough. I think they've, as Destiny opened the floodgates, as you mentioned, it also allowed them to learn from a lot of the mistakes that Destiny made too.
Absolutely.
So it gave them a head's up.
That's really true. Graphically, the game's great.
Oh my god, the guns look cool too.
The guns look great. Just, cosmetically, we always make a joke when we're playing, all the silly little appearance items. It's like, dude, I got trendy work pants. I know there's like a fucking plague outside right now, but I am so trendy.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's like if I wrapped a coat around me that was like, this thing that I bought from a Walmart. And
but now it's trendy.
But now it's trendy, y'all.
Or simple. Or trekking. All the adjectives. I have one that's cool.
They should have done Target, Walmart, Express, really make it
H&M, just all these silly little just straight up just store brands. That'd be great.
But get some advertising bonus.
I think it's really cool that you have these cosmetic options, but I feel like they don't make that big of a difference.
You don't look really ostentatiously different than anyone else in the game.
'Cause I feel like
there's your model, and you roughly look like variations of other people.
I think that
Like,
that's
not unique.
you look at something like WoW or Destiny, and you look at a high-end raider, and 95% of the time they look fucking awesome, just because they have the gear and it's the gear looks cool, and that's one of the rewards for the high-end raids. Here's this gear that's really good and looks really cool, and you can nerf range those characters. Division, you can't really do that.
No.
If there was a level 1 and a level 30 standing right next to each other, I honestly don't think I could tell them apart.
No. Unless you looked into
their guns.
Oh, their guns, and they have this, and again, it's one of those things where it's pros, guns are awesome, they're fun to get, the clothing is silly, and
it's fun though.
It's fun, but it's stupid.
It really is
Pointless, I should say.
From a sound aspect, I think the game's great. The guns sound great. The music when it's there is good. When it's just kind of the atmospheric, kind of stuff
that
is cool.
Style of music too. It reminds me a lot of the reason why Marvel's Winter Soldier, Captain America Winter Soldier was so cool too. They went for that spy thriller aspect, and a lot of that similar taste.
And you kind of see differing musical styles in some of the different levels. You get the mission later where you're hacking into the servers, and it's kind of more of a digital feel. You kind of see stuff. You go to the power plant, you go to a police academy, you go to all these different places, and the music never feels out of place.
Yeah, and it does feel like it changes too, which is something you gotta give them credit for.
Absolutely.
Final thoughts with the story. So, story is serviceable.
Yes. I think that one of my biggest fears with the game initially was there wasn't going to be this big bad that we have to look forward to later on. And without going into too specific of spoilers right now, because I do want to go into those a little bit at the end of the review, I think it does a great job of that. You have, the individual leaders of all the different gangs. While they don't get a ton of character development, you hear about them enough, so then when you finally do fight them, and you finally do take them down, it feels good.
I agree. And I know, yes, if I'm going really into it, sure, the story is what you expect, It's not surprising, it doesn't really throw you any loops.
There's no there's maybe one kind of oh my gosh, I never saw this coming. Yeah.
A little bit, but it's just it's there, it's good, it's fine, and it does its job. It's not anything to praise unto the heavens about. If anyone says to you, this game is beating Destiny because of its story, that's not why it's beating Destiny.
I mean, again, it's hard to even say if it's beating Destiny right now.
True enough.
It's also, I was happy to see that the whole, smallpox spread idea was a little bit more fleshed out than I originally thought. The way it gets done is terrifyingly genius, actually.
It's terrifyingly genius. It's spread through dollar bills.
Cash.
And
on Black Friday.
The worst day of it, yeah.
That's fucking brilliant.
It is brilliant. It's brutal. And again, with the story being serviceable and what we were saying about the world you're looking at, it's so atmospheric. That's its success. It makes you feel like you are in, holy shit, this is the end of government as we know it, which is why you're there, right? You're the division. You're restoring order. And definitely went out of whack.
On the flip side of things, I talked about how I was afraid that there was going to be the big bad villains. I was very happy to see that some of the relationships you build with the named NPCs that you work with, they're not amazing. I feel like they're kind of on level Destiny kind of started to reach and Taken King with people like Kade and stuff.
Yeah, and that's because they have they do have a little bit of cinematics. You do missions, you hear them over the speakers. They're all voice acted.
You get their personalities and stuff, and I mean
yeah, they have personalities.
The security guy, he's kind of meh. He's just kind of there. The med.
He talks about coffee.
He does talk about coffee.
Yeah.
The med chick, she's kind of a bitch, but at the same time, it's I think she realizes that she's the only person who can save us.
Yeah.
So at the same time, it's she's the only person who can save us. So I'm I kind of get your bitchery.
Condescending, but a little quirky too. It's good.
But then the tech guy again. I don't know why I can't remember the names. The tech guy is fucking awesome.
Man, it's so funny because I
think the med chick is Jessica.
You do.
The security guy is Captain Benitez.
Benitez.
I don't remember the tech guy's name though.
Tech guy.
Paul. Is it Paul Rhodes?
Probably Paul Rhodes.
I think it's
Paul Rhodes.
definitely Paul Rhodes. Can confirm it's Paul Rhodes.
Yeah, confirmed.
God damn it. But at the same time, like, I feel like the story, it's there. It's serviceable enough to where I feel like it's really just there. I don't really know what else to say.
It accomplished its goal. It's like I said, it serviced the atmospheric tension that they wanted to drive in. Which what are you selling in the Division? You want to sell the world. You want to make it feel alive, and everything that goes on here makes it feel that way. Even from NPCs just randomly walking by on the street to people shouting at you from windows as you walk down the corridors. It's all really good. It feels like it's dense, which is a good thing to have. Lore-wise, and like, do you think if like there's going to be special things afterwards? I think that's the end game. That's the unknown. So I think it's safe to say story was okay. It's whatever. Now we go into kind of a spoiler-ish territory with our final immediate thoughts.
So with, like I said, there's these big bads.
Yeah.
And about halfway through the story, you learn that there are some of Division agents that have gone rogue.
Yeah.
And
so the rogue actually goes into the plot.
Which I was like, oh, that's kind of brilliant.
I didn't think they were going to do that. I thought it was just going to be a bullshit.
But there's a couple of them with the big bad one. His name's Aaron Keener.
Yes.
And you kind of like hear mention of Keener through some of the story missions and some of the echoes and stuff, and you kind of get this idea of who he is. When you get done with the story, you just get this random waypoints, and it's called Unknown Signal, and you go to this thing, and it's an echo. First of all, echoes are pretty cool. This echo in particular is really well done.
This echo is done so well because it's actually focusing on NPCs moving around a little bit, which is Aaron Keener in this case.
And in this particular...
Normally they're stagnant.
Right, and in this instance, he's talking directly to you, which is very interesting. And you kind of you learn like more about how the smallpox virus was genetically formed, how it's literally like, here's the smallpox virus. Oh, I'm going to take this aspect from this disease and this aspect from this disease. It was genetically formed. And it's just like, okay, again, terrifyingly genius.
Yeah, it's creepily accurate to how this would go down. And what's really cool is not only do you get this like echo with him in it and everything, and you finally understand what he's about, and I think the final spoiler here is he's going to be someone that we have to consider later on in DLC. Yeah. He's not dead.
He's not dead at all.
No.
The echo, he leaves and he's like, see you later.
Yeah.
And he has the equipment and the technology and the knowledge at this point to do something like this again.
And the reason why is because he stole it from the dude that made it in the first place, which I think he didn't kill him. I think he died of his own accord because he even mentions it in the video cinematic that he's talking about. It's like, if I die from this, that's cool. This guy wasn't out to do anything like, Allahu Akbar, jihad stuff, which is good. I'm glad they avoided that aspect of it. Instead, it focuses on a guy that's like, we're overpopulating the earth, we're ruining its resources, and we need to start over, is his mentality. He has a very skewed but morally gray area for doing
like
this.
At one point you're like, damn, this makes sense.
It makes sense in a twisted, awful way.
But like, I'm excited to see that you learn just enough about Keener to be like, shit, this guy's gonna be big later on.
Yeah.
And like, we already know, we got 3 moderately sized DLCs later down the road, and I'm just like, this is intense. Like, I'm curious to see how much he's going to like try to build up the Division again on the rogue side, because like he realizes like halfway the story, like the Division's just as flawed as everything else.
Yeah, the Division 2, no division, or the Division
divided
of the Division,
the divided division,
the divided division.
But I feel like you have that aspect of the story. Again, it's not amazing.
Yeah,
but it's it's cool. I got done with the story and I was like, wow.
I saw it coming from a certain sense because in my mind, where you were worried they wouldn't have a big bad, I'm like, they have to find a way to keep going. So
well, again, as
the story went along, I saw it coming.
My biggest concern too was we were going to get done with the game, and that big bad was going to be gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now what does the game do?
Exactly, and that's why I kind of thought from my standpoint, I'm like, the Division's going to sell, it's going to make money. I think they know this. They're going to create a proxy so that they continue on the legacy of the Division later on whenever a Division 2 comes out.
Right. Or just, as it starts developing more next year. Because again, you know, there's so many people starting to hit level 30 right now, and the biggest like question is, what is the end game right now? Because it's not really fleshed out, because, you know, the end game doesn't really exist yet. Like, it's like a pre-end game right now, which is pretty much just getting us ready for incursions, which are this game's raid, which come out next month.
Right.
It's the first one coming out next month. But
Yeah.
like right now, it's kind of that weird like,
and
okay,
incursions,
hit 30, what do?
Yeah, and incursions, just to remind people who aren't aware, they are free.
The first one is.
Yes.
At least the first one, we don't know from there.
I have a feeling that the incursions will be free, as it's a part of this game's like end goal to keep you interested, I think.
But it'll go back and forth.
Yeah, but I think there might be some exclusive ones that are in DLC too. So I'm thinking it like you said, it's a back and forth with it. You know, they got to find the right consumer angle for this game as the market becomes both bigger and smaller at the same time, because it will condense in a couple of months. Mm-hmm. So, my final thoughts for The Division is it's a game for people who like third-person shooters that want to play with friends and have a fun time. Don't look at it as like the most hardcore experience, but don't look at it as the most easiest experience either. There's a bar of entry here, and you can get it even if you aren't the best at it. You just have to want to play it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think like the biggest thing for me is like a lot of what you said, you know, you need to have friends to play this game, like fully enjoy it. Like
friends.
That's just the truth of it.
I'm sorry, you need friends.
I'm sorry. Go outside. I'm sorry you don't have friends.
Friends.
Please, John, I love you, but you need to meet some people, buddy. Like, but it's fun if you want it to be. Like, literally, this game is what you want it to be. Like, the cool thing is, like, right now at the end game, like, you can sit there and you can farm the challenging missions for fucking 4 days if you wanted to, just to get that gear. And you can sit there, and there's that depth for those people who are like, oh, there's like 26 stats in this game, and I want to min-max the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Good for those people. I'm like
Analytics.
somewhere in the middle of that, because I swear down the road I'm going to be like, yeah, that's pretty wrong. Get a new one there. You know.
The math does not compute.
The math, it's bad. But I think as a whole, The Division is a great experience. It does a lot of what Destiny has tried to do for so long, a little bit more fleshed out. From the beginning, provides a completely different experience at the same time.
Exactly. Stop comparing it immediately to Destiny. Just realize that Destiny will have its own community and its own fan base, and there are going to be as many haters for it, I'm sure, as there will be supporters. I know a lot of big people are mad about the fact that Manhattan's not available. It's not as big as was advertised on the E3 trailer. The whole drone support thing is totally gone with the pads and whatnot, but who cares about that? Just manage your expectations and come into it with an open mind. Have some friends, have a good time, because that, at the end of the day, is, I think, what The Division tried to sell you. You're going to play this with friends and have fun.
Yeah.
So, guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. Check out more of our stuff. We've got a lot of it at this website called geekdomination.net. Was that it?
We got a lot of content coming your way with our weekly podcast. Got my solo show, Excessive RP. We got Zane's solo show with Zane's World. We got a lot of stuff in the works. You know, get excited. This is a cool time to be our fans, and we love you for being our fans.
Yeah, because we're small, but we're going to get big. Yeah. All right. Until next time, guys.
Bye.
Later.